Good morning. It is 8:09 a.m. on Tuesday, April the 6th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So I feel like I have two things to talk about today, and they are kind of amusingly separate in, like tone, I guess, maybe. Well, so one is that there is a tabletop RPG called Wanderhome, and I backed this on Kickstarter, and we played a one-shot of it on so many levels way back last year in October, I think. And that was with sort of the preliminary like playtest kit. But yesterday, the official final version just came out, and so we're going to play it again on so many levels tonight. It's just a very friendly, gentle, soothing, kind, sweet little animal people on a journey sort of game. And it's lots of fun. We had a great time. The first one shot that we played had our little party encounter a farm populated by bunny people who lived in big hollowed out pumpkins, giant hollowed out pumpkins, who raised crickets and grew strawberries and carrots that you could brew into a potion that when you dusted them with the dust from little prismatic butterflies, it could make a potion that could change the color of your hair or fur or feathers or whatever. Yeah, spoilers. But yeah, so I think we'll be playing that again tonight. And so that's just a very sweet and kind game. One of the things that I really like about it is the way it's all framed in the game implies that, you know, this is a land where, okay, sure, maybe this is in a world where dangerous things have happened, and there might be monsters or bad people somewhere, but not around here. That's all far away. All of the people in this area are fundamentally good. The land was recently caught in war, but is no longer. I like that. I like that because it allows the characters to have some broader awarenesses, but without risk of it coming up in too threatening a way in the game. I like that. So the other thing that I was going to talk about, which is why I was kind of amused that they just sort of feel very opposed in tone in some ways, is the video game Hitman III. Which I had been watching the most recent kind of series of Hitman games ever since they sort of just went back to Hitman and then Hitman 2 and then Hitman 3 and so on. But I'd been hearing people talk a lot about it and never really checked it out before now. But it's pretty neat, and I'm finding that I'm really digging it. The premise, if you are not familiar, is pretty straightforward. You're a hitman, period. And it's actually a little bit sort of sillier than that, because you are a bald-headed hitman with a tattoo of a barcode on the back of your head, and there's a whole thing about that, I guess. But none of that's really important at all. The basic of the game is that you are dropped in these enormous sandbox maps with specific targets, and you're told to basically figure out a way to eliminate your target and then escape, without getting caught. And a big part of the game is walking around these enormous little clockwork music box maps where you have all of these different characters who are wandering around doing their little routine of like what they do absent your intervention. And then there's some limited AI in them, in the sense of what they do, for example, when they see someone suspicious, or what they do when, say, they find a dead body or something like that. But a big part of the game is not really just playing through every level once, but rather playing through every level, several times, so you start to learn the whole map really well. You start to learn all these different characters and what they do, and then you start using all of that to create interactions where, like, one example in so there's the first big map in Hitman 3 is in a gigantic, at the top of a gigantic skyscraper in Dubai. And so one of the things that can happen in that game is that as you're wandering around a maintenance corridor, you'll hear someone talking on their cell phone about how, oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. Kill my boss with an exploding golf ball? I feel like I was, just not thinking straight there. I mean, I'm really glad that I talked to you before that went any further, because, yeah, no, I hid the exploding golf ball in the locker. And so then you can go to that locker and get this exploding golf ball, and then one of your targets likes to hit golf balls off the roof of this skyscraper because he's a rich jerk. And you can go plant that exploding golf ball in his bucket of golf balls and kill him with an exploding golf ball. That's the sort of thing that can happen in this game. And there's lots of different little variations of, how to make it happen. And then there's different challenges of, like, oh, hey, can you find all of the different ways. So one of the other key mechanics that's fun but a little silly is that your guy 47 can almost instantaneously swap clothes with people that he knocks out or kills within a certain, like, not every single character can give you a disguise like this, but you can just, like, with the press of a button, say you swap into their clothes, and it's the classic trope of, like, oh, you knock out the soldier and you take his uniform, right? But it's effective to the point of being silly in a fun way, because it will literally work. Like, you can wander into a room where there's a soldier and a chef having a conversation, like they know each other, and the chef looks nothing like you. But then you can turn on an ice machine in the other room, and the chef goes to check it out. While he's in there by himself, you knock him out, and you put on his chef uniform. Then you can go back out into the kitchen, and that same soldier who is just talking to the chef is going to say, "Hey, how's it going?" And it's not entirely obvious if they think you are literally the same guy, or if they just say, "Oh, I guess there's another chef." But but some of that makes for silly dress-up fun, and it's kind of a fun game. Anyway, I'm enjoying it, and so I will leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.